Hello, it's Rachel. Today I'm discussing the Kung Fu Season 3 finale. So, this was a doozy. um, my expectations were basically underground, and the finale didn't even meet those. Um, yeah, but let's go ahead and get into the discussion. We start with a team meeting as they try to come up with a way to stop Xiao. Jin and Mei Li voice concerns that Zhao is too dangerous to live, which everyone else seems a little bit uncomfortable with. And Nikki suggests another method, bringing Pei Li back into play. Everyone gets on board and agrees that it sounds like a good plan, and Henry has the idea to use his compass powers to try to reach Pei Ling. So Henry does successfully manage to reach Pei Ling by using Bo's totem. So, like, okay, cool, just throw salt in the wounds. Why don't you? But before Henry can manage to talk to her, Zhao forces him out. But now Henry knows this works, so obviously he can try again. So while Henry has that realization, Nikki and Jalan go to talk to a guard that Zhao had made do her bidding, and there's the implication that Zhao was controlling his body. So as Nikki and Jalan relay this information to the group, Althea and Evan get an alert, and they have seemingly tracked Xiao to a bank, to everyone's confusion. Nikki and Jalan arrive at the bank to try to stop her, and as I predicted in last week's review, their plan is to dose Xiao with the anti-magic fruits in the hopes that it will weaken her enough to help Pei Ling fight back. Unfortunately, they're not sneaky enough, though, and Zhao incapacitates them and causes a commotion at the bank to keep them occupied while she slips out. And the fruit gets destroyed in this commotion. Because the stakes aren't high enough, apparently, with Nikki and Jalan being normal humans while Zhao has mind control powers. After this setback, it's time to go back to the drawing board. They quickly realize Zhao was after security keys to get access to some satellites. And the group comes to the conclusion that Zhao wants to mind control everyone, which I guess is the endgame plan. Like, it's never fully explained what she wanted with the satellites and, like, what her end goal is. So clearly the writers weren't that interested in, like, fully figuring out what she wants to do. So I'm not going to try to figure it out. So, moving on. So, the new plan is for Althea to take control of the satellites, while Henry frees Pei Ling and gets her to fight back, while Nikki and Jalan fight Zhao in person. So the entire idea is to overwhelm Zhao and give her too much to do at once so she'll be weaker. And it's actually a really excellent plan. Like, I was pleasantly surprised by this after the writers decided to take the fruit out of play, because I just could not see anything realistically working. Um, and it makes a lot of sense, because if you can't remove Zhao's powers and, like, make it a level playing field, if you overextend her to the point that she can't possibly do all of this stuff at once, like, of course, it's gonna make it easier to incapacitate her. So, we pretty much know this is going to work, because it's the finale. We're, like, halfway through the episode at this point. But it was kind of exciting to see how this was going to play out. So anyway, as Althea has had to stay away from electronics because of her plea deal, she accepts the NSA job so she can do her part in this. Things seem to be going well. Althea appears to have the upper hand with the satellites, until a few guards rush into the Shen's house, attacking Ryan and Mei Li and Jin. Jalan offers to stay and take care of Nikki's family, as Zhao will undoubtedly send more guards. And before Nikki rushes off, Jalan pulls her aside and reiterates to Nikki to take the kill shot if needed. Nikki gets to Zhao's location, Henry's giving Paling a pep talk, Althea's holding steady with the satellites. Um, Almost everyone else is involved in the physical fighting at this point, which it was a bit ludicrous to watch, but I appreciate the sentiment. And things seem to be going well until Zhao manages to get the upper hand as everyone is a little bit overwhelmed dealing with her mind-controlled minions. But just as it seems like Zhao could win, this is the moment that Paling manages to find the strength to fight back. With Nikki and Paling working together, they weaken Zhao. Nikki manages to separate Zhao from the scepter and destroys it, which allows Paling to return to her body. And I absolutely loved this scene. I thought it was so well done, showing how this worked pretty much only because Nikki and Paling were working together in harmony, and like the way it was shot, that we saw Nikki and Paling even utilizing like the exact same movements, and uh, it was just really beautiful, and I got teary-eyed over it. But then the writers had to ruin all the warm feelings I had, and Paling tells Nikki that Zhao will always be a threat as long as she is alive, because she and Zhao are linked until death. And so the writers have put Nikki into the position of killing Paling. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Paling dying is very much not what I wanted. Like, I think I've stated that probably half a dozen times in the reviews this season. But as much as I don't want it, like, I understand the thought process of Paling died, so bringing her back is not the natural order. And basically coming to the conclusion that she had to die again because it already happened, so that's what was meant to be. Like, I could have accepted it if the execution in the writing decision had been different, because Nikki watching Paling die in the pilot was like very likely the most traumatizing event of her life. And now Nikki has to be the one to kill her. Like, do you understand why that's so disturbing to me? Because like, it's not Nikki has to let her die, watch her die again. No, it's Nikki has to pull out Jalan's knife, stab Paling, and feel her body go limp as she dies. Like, congrats, you re-traumatized Nikki. Cool. Again, I didn't want Paling to die at all, but I see the message about grief and needing to let go. And like, I could have been fine with like Paling is in bad shape and Nikki rushes to her insisting that she's going to save her. And Paling gives a similar speech about like, this is what is meant to be because things have been off since she came back. And Nikki has already saved her by giving her back her body or something along those lines. Um, I don't know. I feel like I'm coming off, like, I feel like I'm giving the vibe that there was no way to do this that would have satisfied me. But, like, the re traumatizing Nikki angle of this just really pisses me off. Like, why on earth would you do that to Nikki? It's. And then to twist the knife, Jalan arrives on the scene literal seconds after Paling dies. So for the writers to have Jalan voice in the previous episode that like literally the only thing she wants is to save her sister and reunite with her, and then the writers don't have the decency to give her that. Like the fact that Jalan had like literally only 10 minutes with Pei-Ling the entire season. Jalan deserved so much more. Like, it's unbelievably upsetting that she didn't get to have a goodbye with Pei-Ling. And I guess I should be glad that like the past season and a half was dedicated to her redemption arc, and it was actually really well done and thoughtful. But it's just I've said this before, the show like refuses to let these characters have a real win. Like, it's exhausting. And like as much as I love narrative resonance, like can we please focus on what these narrative beats mean for the characters for like 5 seconds? Please. Unsurprisingly, now that Pei-Ling is dead, Jalan feels aimless and leaves the city. So this is the last time we see her telling Nikki that she's leaving. The rest of the characters get a cutesy wrap up with a time jump skipping ahead 5 months. Nadia has the baby. Meili and Sebastian are running their successful food truck. Shin is doing a great job with his new political position. Althea's being a badass with her NSA job. Dennis is still her supportive and loving husband. We don't see Henry, but right before the time jump, he talks about doing a mission for the One's Eye, so I guess that's where he is. And then we see that Nikki is still continuing to help people around the world. So it's all pretty standard given pieces that we've been shown throughout the last few episodes. Nothing too exciting. It felt very series finale esque. I must say, I'm very glad the bloodlines no longer exist. When we learned how they were created last season through Zhao practicing eugenics, uh, my one hope for the series end was that Nikki would find a way to stop the bloodlines from being passed on. So I'm very pleased the writers were on the same page with me here, even if the way it happened was wildly different than I was expecting. If the CW decides to renew the show, though, I think I'm done. As I've already expressed in past reviews for this season, I'm pretty disappointed by quite a few of the decisions the writers made, and I don't care to see the characters' happy endings being uprooted to create another season. Um, I don't think I'd have a fun time anyway, given I've not really been enjoying myself since the reveal that Bo was the Harvester. um, as for what's next on my channel, I have a few ideas for edits. I have a few ideas for some long form video essays, deep dives into some shows that have ended. I've been a little bit busy since the start of the year, so we got to see where the creative juices flow because I want to post at least once a month. But that means I can't do anything too time intensive if I want to stay on schedule with that. I'm planning to do weekly reviews on Nancy Drew season 4 when that starts, but that's still like 2 or 3 months away. Maybe I'll do a Kung Fu character ranking. That could be fun. And it probably wouldn't be too horribly long, I wouldn't think. um, if there's anything you guys would be interested in hearing my opinion on, feel free to leave a comment. Um, I'm open to recommendations when it comes to discussing media. But yeah, I think that's all for this video. Please continue to wear your masks and stay safe. Have a good rest of your day. And hopefully I'll catch you again soon. Bye!